I'm sitting on the plane, my heart racing, chest tight, I can't breathe. We're plummeting, nonstop. I'm gripping the armrest as tight as I can, but it's out of my control. I'm terrified. And then I look out the window and see the tarmac as the flight attendant makes her takeoff announcement. This is what it feels like to have your internal world in chaos. Outside, everything seems fine, but inside, you're crashing. Mental health is not just about avoiding breakdowns or managing symptoms. It's about cultivating resilience, self-awareness, and the ability to navigate life's intensities. It's about having the capacity to feel, the ability to return to calm, and the self-trust to meet discomfort without collapsing. It's about what we were never taught. We teach kids facts about history and formulas in math, but we don't teach them how to notice when their breath shortens, when their jaw clenches, or when they're about to emotionally shut down. We've separated intelligence from embodiment. Mental health is not the absence of struggle. It's the presence of tools. And what happens when you don't have those tools? I can tell you what that looked like for me. I was so used to being the overachiever. I did extra exams, always got good grades, and worked hard. It was who I was. But senior year came around, and I started to lose that grasp on myself. I started slipping, and a slippery slope that was. The motivation, the success, the fire, I could feel myself burning out. And other people noticed, too, when I stopped meeting this expectation we had all set for me. I stopped turning my work in on time or doing it well. I stopped participating, stopped putting in effort. And truth be told, it scared me. I didn't know what was happening or what to do, but I knew something was wrong. It didn't matter if I wanted to do something or not. I just couldn't. I kept trying to give it a name. Burnout, senioritis, ADHD, but those are labels. Labels that did no justice to the heaviness I felt. Stress is something I've always kept in my back pocket as a secret weapon. I pulled it out when I needed an extra boost, something to push me across the finish line. It was my power-up. I thrived on that last-minute adrenaline rush, the race to get something done in time. It was like a game I played with myself. It was fun, it was light, and it worked. Until it didn't anymore. Until the stress in my back pocket built up so much, it weighed me down. It was no longer a weapon, but an obstacle. One I did not know how to overcome. Now you might think the green school, of all places, would have some sort of progressive alternative solution to problems like mine. Yoga, mindfulness, something. But no. When I struggled, the system around me didn't ask why. It responded with lower grades, warnings, and discipline reports. What I didn't get was help. So I lost hope in that system, the one that swore to protect and support me. Clearly, it didn't know any better than I did. Even my teachers couldn't deal with all the work they had on their plate. So what is this all for? Life is not easy. We know this. How many of you have felt lost? How many of you have been overwhelmed? How many of you have struggled and still do? Now, how many of you remember your high school algebra class? What I went through isn't rare. It's a reflection of something bigger. We are facing a mental health epidemic in youth. In the US, 1 in 5 teenagers has made a suicide plan. 32% of teens live with an anxiety disorder. And in the past decade, suicide rates in girls aged 10 to 14 have gone up 167% globally. These statistics are not just shocking, they're rising. And our schools operate as if everything is fine. Enough is enough. We are creating students who can code, calculate, and pass exams, but we're not preparing them to be whole, resilient humans. We're not lacking achievement, we're lacking integration. We teach kids to perform, but not to pause and ask, am I okay inside? This is whole human education, focusing on people, not as images of success. Until we can incorporate inner skills into our education, we will continue to produce high achievers who feel low inside. I wanted to take matters into my own hands. I avoided it at first, of course, until my mom came to me with an idea. She suggested we start doing transcendental meditation together. I said yes, why not? After all, I'd been looking for a solution, and maybe this was it. Transcendental meditation, or TM for short, is a practice that involves sitting with your eyes closed and silently repeating a mantra in your head for around 20 minutes twice a day. Studies have shown that TM reduces burnout, anxiety, insomnia, and overall psychological distress. It's often used to treat veterans struggling with PTSD, and when groups of people practice TM together in war zones, the war deaths in those areas drop significantly for seemingly inexplicable reasons. That was convincing enough for me. My mom and I were lucky enough to find a TM teacher living in Ubud, Nikki. Nikki was immediately willing to help us. First, she gave us our mantras, symbolic and abstract sounds that help us to reach transcendence. She gave us the rundown of how to do it, and we began. Take it as it comes. This was a phrase that I heard a lot throughout our learning process, and I think embodies transcendental meditation. To me, it stands as a reminder that my practice is for no one else but me. For once, I am not fighting to meet someone else's expectations, because there are none. I'm not worrying about my success or my effort. Even my mantra is for my mind only. I wish I could say I started meditating and all of my problems went away. But that wasn't the case for me. It helped, for sure, but it wasn't some magical solution. Sometimes I didn't meditate every day. I forgot, or I avoided it, the way I did everything else. All the more reason to do it, though. And I began to look forward to it. Morning and evening, I enjoyed it. I would close my eyes and all of these intricate thoughts and ideas would spring into my head as if I was releasing my creativity, finally. And it wasn't about denying those thoughts, trying my hardest to get rid of them, as a lot of people think meditation is. It was about accepting them, about acknowledging their beauty and their fleetingness. In fact, I wrote this speech right after meditating. I used to stare at blank documents for hours. It was all I could do. But after meditating, words just came. Not forced, flowing. In a world that demands we always do, TM taught me how to just be. I meditate for 17 minutes specifically. Not that long, right? Just enough time to brew a pot of tea or burn toast. But to me, 17 minutes is the difference between giving up and realizing I can keep trying. It can be so hard to find peace and quiet in our daily lives. There's always something to do, always somewhere to be. But my meditation allows me to give time back to myself. It brought a stillness into my life that I didn't know I was looking for. It became the calm in the chaos. I noticed when I started meditating that if I needed to sit at school, there was nowhere for me to go. I honestly think I spent more time running around the campus trying to find the perfect place to meditate than actually meditating. So I thought, why don't I make one? I found an empty yurt in high school, and with the help of Pat Kadekantara and his team, turn this forgotten, purposeless space into a mindfulness yurt. A place entirely dedicated to stillness. We all know that as beautiful as Green School is, it can be chaotic. Finding a moment of silence throughout the school day is not easy, but now we can provide just that. Students can decompress, be alone, or meditate, all in privacy and comfort. I am now also working on a space like this in the heart of school for middle school students. I decided I wanted to use what I had discovered for others, because I knew it couldn't be just me that needed this. The problem is obvious, the solution less so. There are so many options out there, and TM is just one of them. But it made a difference for me, and that's enough to know it might make a difference for someone else. I wanted to make TM easily accessible to everyone here. Schools that bring TM into their curriculum report incredible positive changes in their students' grades, social lives, graduation rates, and most importantly, happiness. Still, this is not a miracle answer. It's a cog in what needs to be a much bigger machine. Another part of that machine I worked on was writing and sending Mindful Monday emails to students and teachers across the school. These included steps for guided tasks to encourage mindfulness and remind students to slow down throughout their week. I ended up reaching out to an organization called Education for World Peace to help me bring this project to life. They have been bringing TM to local schools here in Bali for 23 years, guiding students through the practice. I spoke to Pakwayan, the head, and he mentioned something that stuck with me. He said that he had been trying to get TM into Green School for years now, but that he never received any collaboration. I spoke to 2 other ex-Green School teachers about this project, and they told me similar stories. Both of them had tried to get some form of mindfulness or meditation into the school, and their efforts were blatantly ignored. Why the pushback? Why are the people tasked with caring for us not caring? This kind of additional support, this whole human education, is not just nice, it's essential. I pitched the idea of bringing transcendental meditation to Green School, first to the GSSA and then to GSEC. The goal was to lengthen the school day by 15 minutes, allowing for a 15-minute meditation period in the morning, where students and teachers could practice TM. After some thought, the conclusion reached by the GSEC team was a voluntary 15-minute period from 7:55 to 8:10, since rearranging anything else in the school day would have been too difficult. This is a step in the right direction. The GSEC team will be meeting with Pakwayan from Education for World Peace on August 11th to finalize the plan. And then he and his team will finally be able to bring transcendental meditation to Green School. This has certainly been an uphill battle, but I'm excited for this next chapter of Green School. We've always said this was important, but now we can put action to our words. That student, the one paralyzed by pressure, she's still here. But now she has a tool, a practice, a place. Because mental health is not an extra credit. I want to thank my family for pushing and believing in me throughout this project. To my teachers, thank you for helping me shape this project. To GSEC and Pac Benjamin, thank you for making this happen. To Pakwayan and Education for World Peace, thank you for your belief in this work. To Nikki, my TM mentor, thank you for bringing meditation into my life. To Tori, thank you for saving my speech at the last minute. To my friends, thank you for supporting me. To Dylan, thank you for always being there for me. And lastly, thank you all for being here today.